आवाज आ रही? Hello friends, welcome at GS4. I'm Manoj, and in this brief session, we are going to discuss overview, insight about this paper. Though we are discussing everything in two parts. First, we are discussing about an overall analysis overview, something like that, and then question by question, threadbare. So it's not about answer, question answer, or anything else, rather than getting inference, insight, and a direction. Why I'm using the word direction? Because now you will find that everyone is doing analysis, and for that matter, you don't need analysis because you have a chat GPT or something like that. But what happens, especially those who have already appeared this year, they know it very well, that this is not the information, this is not the knowledge. This is thinking, reflection, articulation. If you have these things, probably the chances are very high that you will compete and you will get a rank. If you don't have, then you will end up by getting 90, 95, 100 or something like that. At the same time, you will find that the students are getting 140 and something like that. Last year, also before that, also students got 130, 135, 140 or 142, something like that from this place. And that gives me learning opportunity, that how some candidates are doing much better with limited knowledge, but probably in those 3 hours, they are utilizing these information in a much better way. Why I say so? Because, and why I'm talking about that you need to focus more on getting, you can say, knowledge, thinking, reflection, articulation, etc., rather than simply talking about, you can say it's a common sayings or XYZ. ये तो कई साल से बात चल रही है, सबके मार्क्स नहीं आ रहे हैं, कई साल से हम टेम्पलेट बना रहे हैं, मार्क्स नहीं आ रही है, मार्क्स तो बहुत कम स्टूडेंट्स के आ रहे हैं, आ तो रहे हैं, they are getting marks and they are getting extraordinary marks. So when I'm using the word that this session is all about giving you insight about an overview to get the direction, it simply means that if you look at, you can say, not 2025 paper, or rather the last 10 years paper, when we do the analysis of last 10 years paper, you will find that broadly there are, you can say, questions which we can categorize in, or you can say, all the questions we can put in 4 broader categories. And this is something that I have said before examination also. The videos are already, you can see, in the public domain. Sessions are already in the public domain. Again, I am saying you, just spare some time to analyze the questions deeply. And then you will get that there are, you can say, all the questions can be easily categorized in 4 broader categories. And I will give you the insight from this year paper also. Fine. The first question is open-ended questions. Open-ended questions, or mostly you can say, open-ended questions, that is largely, you can say, based on reflection, contextualization, this is taste of your philosophical maturity, etc. एक बार मैं फ्रेमवर्क बना दूं, फिर मैं उस क्वेश्चन के साथ भी आता हूं, just wait, और फिर मैं सिलेबस के साथ भी इंटीग्रेट करूंगा. All the things I will do now. So first category is open-ended. Second is basically, I can say that keyword based or concept plus. So other, it does not mean that the other questions are does not have the you can say concepts, but here you will find it's explicit, it's a direct, it's a visible, fine. So this is second category of the question. Third category of questions are questions which basically test your problem solving in the section A itself. This year also you will find the largest cluster is from the, you can say, this area itself. The whole intent of this type of questions is basically to check your ability to give practical, implementable solutions. Implementable, whether it is related to the institutional reform, transparency, you can say participatory approach. There can be several things, but this is the core idea behind it. And fourth, you will find, fourth category is applied ethics. Now, if you go with the questions right from 2013 to the 2025, when the new scheme of things was introduced in 2013, and when we are talking about 2025 questions, you will find that all these, you can say 10-12 years question paper, broadly, you can find that within the framework. इसी framework में ही आपको 10 साल के questions मिलेंगे. The only thing that you will find that the focus and emphasis is keep shifting. For example, अगर आप 2013 to 2017-18 की बात करो, you will find this area having the largest or the biggest cluster of the questions, especially the keywords, key concepts, etc. और इस वजह से देखोगे एक ट्रेंड भी सेट हो गया. और अभी भी अगर आप अपने पीयर ग्रुप में बात करो तो एथिक्स का नाम सुनते ही सबसे पहले आपको लगेगा कि कीवर्ड्स, एग्जांपल्स की एक लिस्ट बना लेते हैं और वो चीज मस्ट, नो डाउट अबाउट इट, बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट तो होना ही चाहिए. लेकिन ये ओरिजिनेट हुआ 2013 से 18 के बीच में और बाद में एक ट्रेडिशन बन गया, लेकिन पेपर चेंज हो गया और काफी ज्यादा चेंज हो गया. Then in the last, you can say 22 to 25, last 3 years, you will find that the focus has shifted from this. Here it's almost gone. बहुत कम सवाल है और इसके भी नेचर चेंज हो गया. नेचर इज कंप्लीटली चेंज्ड. कंप्लीट नेचर चेंज हो चुका है इसके नेचर काफी ज्यादा चेंज हो चुका है. So the question is here that now you will find in these 3 years, here is the biggest shift. This is something which is already common. ये अपना status को maintain किया हुआ है. Fine. But these two areas, there the level of the questions also has gone to a next level where you can say good administrative acumen or you can say the philosophical maturity is required to solve the questions. In the first glimpse, this appears very easy, but then everyone is not getting marks like 50% or 55%. Marks तो majority के वही 90, 95, 85 ऐसे ही आ रहा है. Anything from 90 to 100. बहुत कम ही कैंडिडेट है जो 125 क्रॉस कर पा रहा है और बहुत कम कैंडिडेट हैं जो 140 के आसपास, लेकिन है. But then there are students. So this is you can say a broader framework in which you should see the PYQ. I have done the analysis of the last 10-12 years. You can also do, and it will help you in writing. It will help you in analyzing the things, because the way you write answers of this question, you cannot do the same. Both are not same. Both are not same. The way you are writing the answer of these type of questions, you cannot do here. You cannot do here. तो सिर्फ एक फिक्स टेम्पलेट तुम्हारा काम नहीं करेगा, बर्बाद हो जाओगे. जैसे एक होता ना कि एक फ्रेमवर्क बना लिया और किसी भी तरह के क्वेश्चंस हो उसमें वो हमने चिपका दिया, जो आजकल पिछले 2-3 सालों में डेवलप हुआ है. It is bound to kill your attempt, no doubt about it. Previously also you might have seen, and this year also you will see it. So let's move to the another point, that how do we see connect this framework in the paper, in the question paper. Fine. So let's look at it. Fine. So if you look at the first category question, which I said open-ended question. So open-ended question where you will find the thinkers also, philosophical, reflective, interpretive questions. So all the questions which is based on the statements and otherwise also you will find that the questions are largely, first category is open-ended questions. Now, what is this open-ended questions? Open-ended questions are you can say, we call it open-ended because its interpretation lies in multiple layers. For example, suppose if I say, war is a diplomacy by other means. War is a diplomacy by other means. The first question itself. First question is, war is a diplomacy by other means. Now, this is a question which demands interpretation or the meaning in multiple layers. This is why it is open-ended. But the moment you come across any, you can say the conceptual question or keyword-based questions, it has not multiple layers. अगर constitutional morality है, तो उसके multiple layers नहीं है. उसको define करने के, you can say, उसको कहने के तरीके थोड़े अलग हो सकते हैं, लेकिन उसको आप multiple layers में नहीं देखते. Multiple layers में नहीं देखते हैं आप उसको. You derive from, you can say, something from the preamble, then the constitutional value, and then come across to the constitutional morality. But that's a different kind of thing. Fine. Here the things are completely different. Completely different. So what happens when these kind of questions comes? Every year, this is one area where you will find from 2013 to 2025. This is one area which is consistent, constant. 3, 4, 5 questions are always there, always there. Now, number one, here the big issue is basically one, that it tests your reflection, thinking, and then you go for contextualization. So what happens, you start with the interpretation, and if interpretation is shallow, narrow, you are gone. Your attempt is gone. The reason is that it's very easy to say, it's very easy to talk that ethics, this mains examination is all about optional ethics, essay, etc. No, mains examination is all about getting edge, taking edge in each and every question. If you are getting edge, if you have that kind of potential, then the chances are always high to get a rank. Otherwise, you will end up by doing something terribly wrong. So the first thing first, it is all about the reflection, interpretation, thinking. Then the second part is of the answering is how do you link it to the values? Because every open-ended question is based on certain values, whether it is duty, morality, resilience, or whatever it is. Fine. And then you go for contextualization. Contextualization is one of the most important thing where you finally see how the things are happening on the ground. कि इसको आप एप्लीकेशन के तौर पे कहाँ देखते हैं, किसी खास सिचुएशन में कैसे देखते हो. So what happens that right from picking one abstract quote to taking it to the application is not a very linear path कि हम ऐसे ही करेंगे, इसका यही आंसर होगा या यही एग्जाम्पल होंगे. इंटरप्रिटेशन रॉन्ग नहीं हो सकता. हाँ, कंटेक्स्ट आप अलग अलग कंटेक्स्ट में उस इंटरप्रिटेशन को आप देख सकते हो. इट ऑल डिपेंड्स अपॉन यू. Here, but overall, if you ask me one thing, that what is this question is all about, I will say that these questions are all about one and only one thing, and that to test your philosophical maturity. Fine. Now, philosophical maturity is basically right from understanding the abstract idea to the application. That's why it's, you can say, philosophical maturity. So this is the first thing first. ये first category है आपके questions का. Let's move to the second category. And the second category, I said that the keyword based question, concept based questions, definition, explanation, relevance, ठीक है, कीवर्ड भी है, कॉन्सेप्ट्स भी हैं. नाउ कीवर्ड, but what happened right from 2013 to 2025? If you look at the questions, you will find that it has also evolved. Initially, the focus was more in and around the meaning, whether it is emotional intelligence or compassion or objectivity or human values or some other areas. But now they are not asking a simple meaning sort of thing. And you will find here, for example, if you look at here, you will see that they are talking about the constitutional morality. So what happens, it's not about keyword, rather you will find a question which is typically based on concept. If you are not conceptually very sound about it, then the rest of the area you will end up by doing something which is very general. And again, my point is that when everyone is writing, the one and only one question that you need to ask to yourself, that how you will get the edge over the others. And this is something that I keep repeating in my most of the sessions. Whenever I get a chance to interact with you, I say that every time you will have to ask one question to yourself, that how you are going to get the edge over the others. Edge over the others. So this is something that you will have to ask. Fine. Now here also you will find that in these type of questions, one thing is very important, that you need to have that concept. You can, it is not about interpretation, the way we have seen now in open-ended question. Conceptual question is not about the interpretation. It's big. It's all about how much you know, your depth about that concept. So for example, if you look at this, whether it is constitutional morality or you can say teachings of the Mahavir, either your conceptual clarity of highest order, or you are simply writing something very vague, something very vague. Fine. So this is the second broader category of questions that I have discussed. और ये अगर आप देखोगे तो अगर 2013 के ऑनवर्ड्स आप देखना स्टार्ट करो तो 2013 टू 2017-18 सबसे ज्यादा क्वेश्चन इसी से आते थे, इसी कैटेगरी से आते थे. बट इन द लास्ट 3 years, स्पेशली 2000, you can say 23, 24 and 25, such questions has gone little bit on the lower side, on the lower side. And these type of questions are largely, if you have done, you can say fairly well, you can say your syllabus, then you can pick it directly from your notes. वहाँ से आ जाते हैं. इसलिए पहले देखोगे जब 2013 से 17-18 तक के क्वेश्चंस देखोगे तो you will gain the confidence कि यार डायरेक्टली नोट से क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं. लेकिन अगर लास्ट 3 साल के क्वेश्चंस देखो तो वो आपको डायरेक्टली नहीं मिलेंगे क्योंकि वो कीवर्ड्स कम होते जा रहे हैं और अब वो शिफ्ट कहीं पे और कर रहा है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, you look at this category, problem solving, you can say, I call it problem solving. ये पहले अगर आप देखोगे तो 2013, 15, 16, 17 में एक दो क्वेश्चंस हुआ करते थे problem solving based questions. But typically you will find now it has gone very high. And then it is now you will find one of the largest cluster of questions where they are trying to focus. Now here something which is ready-made will not work. You cannot pick something directly from your notes and you will paste in the answer. It will not work. It won't work. It never works. And that's why if your entire preparation is fixed on 1 or 2 templates, then it is going to cost you. It is going to cost you very high. Just wait for the marks. So if you look at here, why I am saying this? If you see this question, for any kind of social re-engineering by successfully implementing welfare schemes, a civil servant must use reason and critical thinking in an ethical framework. Justify this statement with the suitable example. With the suitable example. Fine. Do you think that you can say a ready-made framework will work? No. No. Keywords are there, themes are there. But it basically the approach is here to solve the problem. There is certain limitations, certain obstacles. So Now the question is why they ask these kind of questions, and especially in the last 3-4 years, gradually how the number of questions has gone high. It is basically trying to check your ability to give practical and implementable solutions. Practical does not mean unethical. Practical simply means you are writing a point, you are writing a solution, you are seeing the problem, and you are not seeing the problem, you are seeing the, you can say, the possible solutions with its limitations, that within which bracket or limitation you should think to implement it. And that's why it is called implementable, practical. You don't have to go idle. You have to think how you need to give solution which is easy and efficient to execute. And this is what the purpose is. This is what the purpose is. This is what the purpose is. And here comes good practice. You can say a lot of discussion with the faculty, developing that kind of temperament, skill to solve answers. And fourth category, you will find the questions, which is applied in nature. Now, there is no watertight compartmentalization among these clusters, groups, categorization. Rather, just for the sake of answer writing and also for the sake of a practice, you can say getting some good stuff to read, I have categorized in this format. क्योंकि इसके आंसर लिखने के पैटर्न थोड़े से अलग होंगे. कोई एक टेम्पलेट नहीं होगा जो चार के चारों कैटेगरी में फिट हो जाए और तुम्हें मार्क्स आ जाए. ऐसा नहीं होगा. और जो भी ऐसा बोलता है वो झूठ ही बोलता है. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. इट्स नॉट अबाउट सेलिंग द टेम्पलेट. नहीं हो सकता साहब. आपके पास कुछ रेडीमेड फॉर्मेट्स होने चाहिए, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि आप एक ही फॉर्मेट आप हर में चिपका दे रहे. It will not work. So coming to the point, you can say applied. Applied ethics is all about one thing, and that is ethical reasoning, or you can say the ethical reasoning in the current affairs. अगर हम applied ethics की बात करें, तो in one sentence I can summarize that it is all about ethical reasoning in the current affairs. Because whatever the principles, values, etc. you read, they try to test that how do you find it fits into the contemporary development, contemporary issues. Be it this year also you will find whether it is social media, environmental clearance, border security, dilemma, etc. So sometimes it touches to paper 2 also, paper 3 also, environmental section also, society also, or something like that. Fine. So here the demand is one and only one, that how do you connect ethics with the contemporary challenges. Because whenever we think of the contemporary challenges, mostly we think in terms of the policies, and mostly we think in terms of the law, rule, regulation, etc. But here is the purpose is little bit different, that beyond law you have to see, beyond regulations you have to see, and try to connect the ethics with the contemporary challenges. So this is the sole motto of these type of questions. For example, if you look at in the present digital age, social media has revolutionized our way of communication and interaction. However, it has raised several ethical issues, challenges, because the key ethical dilemma in this regard. It's not asking the problem. The biggest issue is basically this: if you are intelligent enough that to write everything around this, then the chances are high to get 50% or more marks. This question is basically that where is the competing choices? Where are the, you can say, the value conflicts? Let's take the example of the way we celebrate festival. Celebration of festival is all about, we can say, interaction, gathering, communication, exchanges of the gifts and all. But then how do you do it? So basically what happens that whenever you talk about the dilemma, it's basically about the values which is in conflict. which is competing, So if your answer is all around the problem, you are gone. Marks नहीं आएंगे, क्योंकि ये प्रॉब्लम पूछ नहीं रहा, वो डिलेमा पूछ रहा. There is a problem, sorry, there is a difference between problem, ethical issues, ethical dilemma. इसमें different, ये सारे requirements different है. It's not overlapping also. It's completely different. It's completely different. Completely different. So coming to the point, what I'm trying to say, that if you look at all the questions, you will find that it demands a lot of maturity in thinking. If you don't have that kind of maturity, then you will end up by getting, you can say, the poor marks. And this is why you can say almost it is 4th or 5th year when I introduced worksheets, reflective exercises. So with that, apart from you can say simply getting the knowledge and information which is readily available. Nobody cares now about the information, and information is the cheapest commodity available. Now the only thing which you need to understand and what will work for you is the thinking. What is the process that helps you to elevate, to evolve, where you are able to develop the content through thinking, reflection, and that reflects in your answer writing, your answers. And this is where I wanted to give you a glimpse that how do you see everything in a framework so that it's easy to practice and plug in your self-study. Self-study. Similarly is the case with, you can say, the case study also. If you look at the case study, you will find the trend of the case study is like personal versus professional, development versus environment, conflict of interest and integrity, etc. So it's not about what versus what. It's basically in the case study. Case study, you get marks, you can say, for one and only, you can say, one thing. And that is effective decision-making process. Effective decision-making process. Fine. If you look at your answers, you will find, number one, what is weak? You never ever care about, you can say, the stakeholder analysis. तुम उसको care ही नहीं करते हो. There is something called analysis into it. Fine. Then you write a lot of points. And this happens this time, unfortunately, and it is going to ruin the attempt of most of the candidates. I repeat my sentence. This is something, writing too many points is going to cost you very high, most of the candidates. Because what happened, that when I was correcting the topics this time, I have seen all of a sudden that in the case study, students are writing answers like GS, where a lot of points are there. In the ethical dilemma, even they are writing too many points. My dear friends, you cannot write too many points in the case study. Case study is not only about the options. Case study is not about extreme options. Case study is all about options, points, etc., with a lot of evaluation. So if every point is not evaluated well, you will not get marks. तो होता क्या है कि आप टेलीग्राम हो, XYZ हो, कहीं पे भी एक बहस चल गई, एक पॉइंट चल गया, तो फिर सारे फॉलो करने लगते हैं ब्लाइंडली. और वो मैंने देखा है इस बार. इतने पॉइंट्स लिख रहे हैं साहब. It's not about points. It's not about extreme. It's basically about options and its viability, possibilities, and then how do you go for evaluation of each and every point, each and every decision, each and every option. This is something that will help you to fetch marks. Nothing else means nothing else. Nothing else is required. Nothing else is required. And that's why sometimes I see when in practical solution or extreme solutions, I will do nothing or something like that. In practical solutions, it simply means you don't understand that even a wrong decision is decision. But the question is whether you will get the marks for the wrong decision or not. You will not get. Just ask to yourself that why you should get marks for wrong decisions. I should get marks for wrong decisions. You won't get it. You will not get it. Not get it. Fine. And similarly, I have seen that the conclusion also in the case study is very weak. Conclusion is basically your implementation plan, that how you are going to implement it. How you are going to implement it. So this is how actually you think, you get insight whenever you go for PYQs. This is also now PYQ for you. But the question is, how do you analyze to get the inferences, insight from it, and then how you are going to help to improve your self-study. And this is what the sole motto is. Fine. We are doing a lot of, you can say, the mentorship sessions. And detail you will get in the, you can say, the description box or the comment box itself. So if you have doubt, we can interact sometime personally, one-to-one, and we'll try to, you can say, or I will try my level best to bring more and more clarity in your entire preparation or understanding of this paper. This is what was the sole motto of this. Thank you everyone. Thanks very much.